Hey guys, my name is Darcy, and I know we're all stuck here at home during this quarantine. And I was cooking for my family, and I found this really cool recipe for some garlic pull-apart bread, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So let's get started. Okay, so the first step that we're going to do is we're going to add a cup of hot water. Make sure the temperature is anywhere between 115 and 125 degrees. Then we're going to add our little packet of yeast. And 2 tablespoons of sugar, and just sprinkle it over the top. Don't mix it. So while we're waiting for our yeast to foam, we're going to go ahead and start our butter that we're going to dip our dough in for the pull-apart bread. So we're going to start with 8 tablespoons of melted butter. I made a little mixture ahead of time here. It's going to be 1 teaspoon of oregano, 1 teaspoon of garlic salt, and 2 teaspoons of regular salt. Pour it into the butter. We're going to mix it up. Okay, so our yeast is finally ready. So our next step is to add 2 tablespoons of softened butter, 1 cup of milk, salt. The recipe calls for 5 cups of flour, but we're actually going to add 3 in the beginning, and then we're going to gradually add the rest of it. So we're going to start adding a little bit more because dough is still really sticky. Just kind of mix that all together. At this point, I think I'm going to start using my hands, so I'm going to scrape everything off with a spoon. Still going to be a little sticky. We're just going to start mixing that all together. Right, so I'm going to pour in the rest of the flour because since my dough is still a little bit sticky. So this recipe calls for 5 cups of flour. It's going to make 2 loaves of pull-apart garlic bread. I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to counter here. Just gonna pour it onto the counter so we can knead it. If you have to do this by hand, it recommends that you knead it for at least 10 or 15 minutes or so. Otherwise, if you have a machine mixer, it says you only have to do 5 to 8 minutes. Okay, so I've kneaded this for about 15 minutes or so. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut this dough in half. We're going to go ahead and set this other half of the dough aside. Just kind of cut it into 1-inch little pieces here. Okay, so now we're ready to dip the bread in the garlic butter. Almost done. All right, so now that we've got all of our bread in our loaf pan, we're gonna have to cover this with plastic wrap and let it sit for about an hour. Okay, so it's been an hour that we have let our pull-apart bread rise. We're gonna take the plastic covering off, and we're gonna make sure that our oven is heated to 350 degrees, and we're gonna put it in the oven for about 30 minutes. So the garlic pull-apart bread is finally finished after 30 minutes. It's nice and golden brown on top, and I have a little bit of extra garlic butter that I'm going to add to the top. Okay, everything's ready to go. So if you're interested in making this yummy pull-apart garlic bread, you can find the full recipe and all ingredients and step-by-step instructions on Gather for Bread on their website. So thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your evening.